The dining room in my parents' sprawling Asheville home gleamed under the soft glow of a chandelier. Crystal glasses sparkled. The linen tablecloth, crisp and white, stretched across the mahogany table like a canvas waiting for a masterpiece. Thanksgiving was sacred in the Harper family, not for love or warmth, but for the spectacle. Every year it was a performance, a carefully choreographed display of unity that masked the cracks beneath. I, Emily Harper, was the eldest daughter, 38 years old, and the invisible glue holding it all together. I wasn't just a daughter. I was the errand runner, the fixer, the one who made sure the show went on. Growing up in Raleigh, I wasn't raised as a child. I was staff. While my younger siblings, Ethan and Sarah, basked in my parents' adoration, I was the one driving carpools, bandaging scraped knees, and ensuring homework was turned in. My mother, Diane, ruled the family with an iron grip, her smile as polished as the silverware she demanded be hand-polished. My father, Robert, was her enforcer, his deep voice a constant reminder of who held the power. I thought leaving for college would change things. I'd earn my place, I told myself. A seat at the table as an equal. But when I returned, degree in hand, I was still the one they called when Sarah needed bailing out of credit card debt, or when Ethan's car broke down. I was the bank, the therapist, the planner. And every Thanksgiving, I played my role, organizing the feast, footing the bill, and smiling through the exhaustion. This year, I was determined it would be different. I'd been saying no more often. No to covering Ethan's latest car repair. No to cleaning up Sarah's financial messes. I was done being the family's doormat. I wanted to be seen, not used. So, weeks before Thanksgiving 2024, I dove into planning with a flicker of hope. Maybe this time, they'd notice me. I ordered everything from the best places in Asheville. The turkey came from Green Valley Meats, a boutique butcher my mother swore by. The sides, creamy mashed potatoes, green bean casserole, and cranberry chutney were from a local caterer, the Harvest Table. And the desserts, the desserts. Pumpkin cheesecake and pecan pie from Sweet Magnolia Bakery, where my mother claimed the pastries could rival anything on the Food Network. I paid for it all, every cent. The total came to $2,300, wired from my savings without a second thought. I sent the receipts to my mother expecting a thank you. I got nothing. The family group chat buzzed with excitement. My Aunt Linda posted, "Can't wait for Thanksgiving." "It's going to be epic," I replied. "Same here, so excited." My fingers hovered over the send button, a smile tugging at my lips. I imagined walking into the dining room, the table laden with food I'd provided, and finally hearing, "Emily, you outdid yourself." Then silence. Hours passed. No replies, no emojis, just a void. That night, my cousin Jake texted me privately. "Wait, are you actually coming? Your parents said you weren't invited this year?" My heart stopped. I read the message again. Then again. My fingers trembled as I typed, "What do you mean? I'm family." His reply was a dagger. "They said they're keeping it small, just immediate family." "Sorry, Em." I called my mother. The phone rang 5 times before she picked up. "Emily, what's wrong?" Her voice was clipped, impatient. "I'm not invited?" I asked, my throat tight, a pause. Then, "We're keeping it small this year, just immediate family." I'm immediate family," I said, my voice shaking. Another pause, longer this time. "It's just easier this way. Less tension." "Tension?" I echoed. "What tension?" She sighed, like I was a child who didn't get it. "You know how it is. Things have been strained. We thought this would be best." Strained? The only strain was me finally setting boundaries. Me saying no when they asked for money. Me refusing to play the role of the family's eternal servant. I checked the group chat again. Everyone else was invited. Ethan, Sarah, their spouses, even distant cousins like Jake. Everyone but me. I hung up, my chest burning. They hadn't just excluded me, they'd used me. They'd taken my money, my effort, and then erased me from the guest list. I sat in my Asheville apartment, staring at the kitchen island where I'd planned the menu, and something inside me snapped. Not in a loud, dramatic way, quietly, coldly. A switch flipped. They wanted a Thanksgiving without me? Fine. They'd get one. The next morning, I made 2 phone calls. The first was to Green Valley Meats. Hi, I'm Emily Harper. I placed an order for Thanksgiving. I'd like to cancel it. The manager was sympathetic, processing the refund in minutes. The second call was to Sweet Magnolia Bakery. They hesitated, but when I forwarded the receipt and explained the situation, calmly, professionally, they relented. The Harvest Table followed suit. By noon, every order was canceled, every dollar returned to my account. I leaned against my kitchen counter, sipping cider, and waited. I knew exactly how this would play out. Thanksgiving Day, 12:17 p.m. My phone buzzed. Dad's name flashed on the screen. I let it ring 4 times before answering. Emily, the food never came. His voice was a mix of panic and confusion, a tone I'd never heard from him. In the background, I could hear murmurs, sharp whispers, my mother's voice rising like steam. "Oh?" I said, my tone light, almost innocent. "Maybe check with whoever placed the order." "You placed the order," he snapped. "Did I?" I let the silence stretch, long enough to sting. "Well, I assumed you didn't need anything from me, since I wasn't invited." The line went quiet. I could picture the scene, the dining room, 20 relatives seated around the table staring at empty plates. The golden centerpiece, a mocking symbol of a feast that wouldn't happen. My mother's face flushed with embarrassment. My sister, Sarah, probably texting her new boyfriend, trying to salvage her perfect image. My father, gripping his phone, realizing too late what I'd done. An hour later, Jake texted me. No turkey, no sides, no desserts. Every store in Asheville is closed or picked clean. Sarah's crying in the guest bedroom. Your mom locked herself in the bathroom. Your dad's just sitting there. Uncle Tom asked, "Wait, wasn't Emily bringing the food?" Everyone's whispering now. I smiled, a bitter, satisfying curl of my lips. They'd tasted the cost of forgetting who funded their feast. 3 days later, a group text from my mother. "We really missed you at Thanksgiving. Hope we can put this behind us." Not an apology. A rug to sweep it under. I didn't respond. Aunt Linda called the next day. "A lot of us confronted your parents," she said quietly. They needed to hear it, but my mother didn't like consequences. By the end of the week, a new narrative was spreading. I was unstable, dramatic. I deliberately sabotaged Thanksgiving. My father called, his voice tight with restrained fury. "I don't know what you were trying to prove, Emily, but you embarrassed your mother." I laughed, sharp and loud. "Funny. I thought she didn't want me there." "We made a mistake, okay?" he said, his sigh theatrical. "But what you did was low. Lower than uninviting your own daughter after she paid for the meal." My voice rose. "You should have said something." "You're being dramatic," he said, as if that would make me fold. It wasn't even that big of a deal. My pulse thundered. It was to me. I hung up, my hands trembling. Rage and grief collided in my chest. That night, Jake texted again. "You officially started a war. Your mom's telling everyone you're unhinged." Christmas loomed. I had no plans to attend. Not until Aunt Linda called again. "Your mom's saying you're too fragile to be around family," she said carefully. "That you're skipping Christmas because you can't handle conflict. Your dad's claiming he tried to fix it, but you're stubborn." My grip tightened on the phone. They weren't going to rewrite my story. Not this time. Christmas Eve 2024. I pulled up to my parents' house, the Asheville air crisp and biting. I was fashionably late, my boots crunching on the gravel drive. The second I stepped inside, the room froze. Conversation stopped. My mother's face went pale. My father paused, bourbon glass in hand. Sarah blinked like I was a ghost. "Hey," I said, pulling off my scarf with a smile. "Merry Christmas." My mother recovered first. "Oh, you made it," she said, her voice tight. "Of course," I replied sweetly. "Wouldn't miss it." Then I stepped aside, revealing my surprise guest. My grandmother, Margaret. My mother's mother. The room went silent. Years ago, my mother had cut her off after a falling out over money and control. Diane had erased her from our lives, but I'd stayed in touch. When I told Grandma about Thanksgiving, she'd been horrified. When I asked if she'd come to Christmas, she didn't hesitate. "Oh my," Grandma said, stepping inside with a warm smile. "It's been ages since I've been here. What lovely decorations, Diane." My mother looked like she might collapse. Dinner was a masterclass in tension. Grandma picked up her fork, tasted the stuffing, and said brightly, "Oh, is this store-bought? Tastes very consistent." I bit my cheek to keep from laughing. Sarah fidgeted. Ethan avoided eye contact. My father stared at his plate. My mother's smile was a thin, brittle line. After dinner, the whispers started. Relatives sent me texts. Heard there was a misunderstanding. "You okay?" Others were sharper. "Didn't think you'd be that cruel." Aunt Linda clued me in. "Your mom's telling everyone you had a breakdown," she said. "That Christmas proved you're unstable." I laughed, bitter and cold. It was unbelievable, but not surprising. My mother thrived on control. If she could discredit me, she wouldn't have to face the truth. She wouldn't have to be wrong. I called Grandma. "Your mother's been calling people," she said, "saying she's worried about you, that you're not well." "You know that's not true, right?" I asked, my voice tight. "My dear," she said, her tone firm. I knew it wasn't true before she opened her mouth. That night, I sat on my couch, the glow of my Christmas tree casting soft shadows. I typed a message to the family group chat. "Hey everyone, just wanted to clear things up. I'm doing great. No breakdowns, no drama. It's been an interesting holiday season, but I'm in a good place. Happy New Year." It was short, neutral, impossible to twist. The digital equivalent of smiling while my mother's lies crumbled. Then, something unexpected. Ethan texted, "Can we talk?" We hadn't spoken in months. I called him, heart pounding. His voice was soft, uncertain. "I don't agree with what Mom did," he said. Thanksgiving felt off. Christmas made it clear. "You don't?" I asked, stunned. "She's good at twisting things," he admitted. I didn't say anything because you know how she gets. "Yeah," I said gently. "I know." "I don't think you're crazy," he added. Not even close. My throat tightened. Tears welled up. I hadn't realized how much I needed to hear that. Something was shifting. Aunt Linda. Grandma. Now Ethan. My mother's grip was slipping. 2 weeks later, my phone rang. My mother's name. I almost ignored it, but curiosity won. "We need to talk," she said, her voice cold. "In person." "About what?" A pause. "Your little stunt humiliated me," There it was. Not hurt me, not let's talk, just humiliated me. Always about appearances. Sunday dinner, 6-5, she said. Your father and I expect you. She hung up. I almost didn't go, but Aunt Linda called. Hear them out, she urged. Make them say it to your face. Sunday evening, I walked into my parents' dining room. The tension was suffocating. My father stood stiffly, hands clasped. My mother sat at the head of the table, arms crossed, eyes sharp. Sarah stared at her phone. Ethan sat on edge, glancing between us. Do you have any idea what you've done? My mother spat. Which part? I asked calmly. Canceling the turkey? Bringing Grandma? Or people seeing through your story? You're so dramatic, she hissed. Dad stepped in. Your mother's hurt, Emily. You've made her look bad. She made herself look bad, I said. I just stopped covering for her. The truth? My mother snapped. Your version of events? You abandoned us, took revenge over a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I stood, my voice sharp. You didn't invite me. You let me pay for everything, then pretended I didn't exist. We didn't mean to exclude you, she said. We thought it would be easier. You told people I was unstable, I shot back. You tried to destroy me because you were embarrassed. And then Ethan spoke. Mom, he said, firm. You excluded her. You told everyone she wasn't coming. You let her pay for everything. That was wrong. She turned on him, eyes flashing. Don't you start. But Ethan didn't back down. You crossed a line. You always do when you're cornered. Dad shifted. We should have handled it differently. My mother's eyes narrowed. What does that mean? He hesitated. Maybe she has a point. The room stilled. I wasn't done. You didn't. Just leave me out. You called relatives, said I was having a breakdown. Why, Mom? She blinked, like the truth slipped out before she could stop it. Because I was embarrassed. Silence. She'd said it. Not, I was wrong. Not, I'm sorry. Just embarrassed. So you made me the villain? I said quietly. She didn't answer. My father looked at her, his expression unreadable. Sarah muttered, Wow. Ethan's jaw clenched. The truth settled over the room, heavy and undeniable. For the first time, I saw my mother clearly. Not a matriarch, not a force, just a woman terrified of being wrong. I stood. I'm done, I said. I don't need an apology. You're not capable of giving one, but I'm done. My mother flinched. You don't get to walk away like that. You shut me out, I said. When people noticed, you made me the villain. You did this. Her lips parted, but no words came. I turned to my father. You let it happen. That hurt too. He looked down, silent. I glanced at my siblings. Sarah's face was tight with guilt. I should have said something, she whispered. Ethan nodded. Me too. It didn't fix everything. But it mattered. In the weeks that followed, I set boundaries. My mother sent shallow texts. Can we move past this? I left them unanswered. Aunt Linda checked in, her support unwavering. Grandma sent a letter, her words warm and proud. Then the real surprise. Ethan texted, Coffee? We met at a quiet cafe in West Asheville. We talked for 3 hours. I spent so long keeping the peace, he said. I didn't see the damage she was doing. I get it, I said. I wasn't alone anymore. The next Thanksgiving, I didn't get an invitation, but I didn't need one. I hosted my own dinner. Grandma came. So did Aunt Linda, Jake, and Ethan. Sarah sent a text. Wish I was there. My mother called a week later. You didn't come, she said, her voice accusing. I wasn't invited, I replied. Silence. Then, we missed you, I smiled. I didn't miss you. I hung up. The empty chair at their table wasn't my shame. It was my peace. If you've ever been the scapegoat, the one who sees the truth while others cling to lies, you know this feeling. The ache, the doubt, the heartbreak of being labeled the problem for setting boundaries. But standing up to that isn't easy. It's terrifying. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do isn't forgive. It's refuse to play their game. Choose respect over obligation. Protect your peace. It's not selfish, it's necessary.